YouTube, welcome back. Today on Kung Fu Science I'm going to be doing a couple of movie reviews on some martial arts related films. If you don't know, I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Z. I mentioned it in a couple of my vlogs and I've been watching it my whole life. I've been watching it since I was a little kid. It came out in the 80s. I was born in the 80s. I've been watching it ever since. I'm really excited to see that there's a new show on TV now in Japan, Dragon Ball Super. It hasn't come out in English yet. I'm kind of waiting on that. I'm keeping up with the story and I'm watching a few episodes here and there, but I haven't really sat down and spammed it yet or got really super into it yet because I'm kind of waiting on the English. Oh no, blasphemy! I'm a anime fan, but I don't really care for the Japanese. Well, here's the thing. I've been watching it since I was a kid. Christopher Sabat and Sean Schemmel, I mean, their voices are in my brain as Goku and Vegeta and Piccolo. For the fact that Christopher Sabat has done like a shit ton of the bad guys and just voices in general throughout the show, and Sean Schemmel may have done one or two at least. I know he did Goku. But anyway, so their voices have been with me my whole life. I can't listen to Goku with a old Japanese lady's voice. Just can't do it. I tried! I just can't get into it. I'm sorry. Vegeta's voice is okay in Japan. I mean, a lot of their voices are okay, but Goku's... But anyway, it makes sense. Culturally, that's what they end up doing a lot. I mean, a lot of the main male characters in Japanese culture have women voices. But anyway, today I'm going to be talking about two of the movies, the two newest movies. Revival of Frieza and Battle of the Gods, or should I say Battle of the Gods and Revival of Frieza if we're looking at it that way. So the reason I'm doing both at the same time is because if you look at the movies separately, they're pretty good. Battle of the Gods is okay. I mean, it's good, but it's not the best by itself. But if you look at them together as one video, one movie, it really makes a lot of sense to do it that way anyway, because of the story is one story, just broken into two movies. I feel like Battle of Gods, we'll talk about that first. So I feel like Battle of Gods had a kind of a slow start and a pretty good amount of boringness to the beginning and not a whole lot of fighting, like really in the whole thing. The battle between Goku and Beerus was pretty cool. Beerus was pretty awesome. Goku reaching another level was pretty awesome. The sound effects, the video quality, the graphics and all of that were awesome, right? Awesome, so good. But overall, I mean, it was kind of like a Dragon Ball Z movie. I mean, it did pretty much the same thing they always do, the same formula, where Goku ends up doing everything and Vegeta looks like a puss for most of it. But if you don't know this, Vegeta's my favorite character, and they always end up shitting on my guy. Man, I love Vegeta. I don't know, they always shit on him. Anyway, he does have a really awesome moment where Bulma gets slapped and he goes absolutely crazy and he whoops Beerus' ass for a minute, which is pretty cool. So anyway, if I'm doing this movie review by itself, now if you don't know this, whenever I do movie reviews, I'm not talking just about the quality of the movie. In fact, my channel is about martial arts, so I'm going to talk more about the martial arts in it. So with this one, the fight scenes, pretty good. The martial arts are okay. It's kind of like the regular old DBZ where they're just kind of brawling, right? So if you look at this one by itself, I would say I give it, and I'm really tough on my reviews, if we're talking about just the martial arts and the action and stuff in it, maybe a 6 out of 10. So anyway, on to Resurrection F. Resurrection F, or Resurrection of Frieza, was awesome. I got to see this movie in theaters, and it was absolutely perfect to me. A fan service out the ass. Fan service! In a good way, too, man. Seeing this in theaters was literally a childhood dream. Checked off of that freaking bucket list. Check that right off the list. For real. The soundtrack was done, some of the music was done by my favorite band in Japan, Maximum the Hormone. Their song Frieza, or F for Fukatsu no F, something like that. Something like that. Was in the movie when Frieza was first being brought back. Oh man, Oh, super cool. I seen it in the trailer, the Japanese trailer, and they played that song. And then the American trailer, they didn't do it. They played some epic, the same kind of music they do in all the American movie trailers. And I was like, oh no, they're taking Maximum out. But then I watched it in theaters, and I was like, yes! Yes! They're playing it. They're playing it. Oh, it was so good. I'm sorry. I love this. I love it. So anyway, this movie, the martial arts were freaking awesome. Everybody in the movie gets their own chance to fight. Even the side characters are fighting like hundreds of bad guys at one time. Spoiler warning! So anyway, they're all getting a chance to fight 100 bad guys or so on their own, and it shows their styles individually. Not the bad guys are still going like they always have, but the characters themselves use style in their movements. Tien, the Shaolin martial arts guy, he is literally doing Shaolin Kung Fu in there. You see him do blocks, double punches, freaking all kinds of awesome movements that just... great. Master Roshi doing his staff fighting stuff, and then Gohan going through and hitting only pressure points, taking people out with pressure points, trying to leave them alive, spare their lives. Oh, so cool. And then Goku and Vegeta training with Whis. Damn, I got goosebumps on this. So they're fighting Whis, right? And all of a sudden, they're both coming at him at the same time, and he straight up starts doing Wing Chun. He's doing Bong Saos, he's doing Tan Saos, Pak Saos. He's taking both guys at the same time, working their arms. And then he knocks Goku down, and I was like, man, that straight up looks like Wing Chun. He knocked Goku down, and then he goes... And I'm like, what? It's Wing Chun! Yes! Yes! Right? And then he whoops both of their asses. Right? And they ask him, how did you get so good? He said, I trained my arms to react on their own, where I do not have to think about them. Cheese out. Right? And he says to Goku, you're too relaxed. You're too comfortable, and you're not focused enough. And then he says to Vegeta, you're too tense, and you're too focused, and you're holding yourself back by being too serious. Right? And right in the middle there, that comfortable, relaxed, but focused, that's Wing Chun concepts. My God, there it is. That was so cool to see that show up in Dragon Ball Z and to see it whoop Goku and Vegeta's ass at the same time. So then, later during the fight with Frieza, Goku straight up inch punches him. He walks up and does this. I think he does his hand somehow, he puts his fingers against him. Does the inch punch, you see the shot come out of his back, his chest goes in. Oh man, just left and right, that movie was making me happy. And you know, at the end, some people really hated it. I didn't get too mad about it because it was totally a Dragon Ball Z answer where Frieza gets pissed. Well, okay, so Frieza's getting his butt kicked by Goku. Out of nowhere, a laser beam, a simple laser beam from an advanced Frieza technology soldier guy shoots Goku in the heart, takes him right out of his Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan form, which I will talk about that in a minute. Actually, I'll talk about both of the Super Saiyan God forms in a minute. So anyway, blast Goku, knocks him completely out of that form. Hits the ground, and then he tries to convince Vegeta to join him. Vegeta's like, I can't believe you would try to do that. And frickin' Frieza's like, blasting the shit out of Vegeta. He's just like, just eating it like it ain't nothing, man. Oh man. And then he comes in there and just whoops his ass straight up. And then Vegeta gets this awesome fight, or pretty awesome finish on Frieza. Frieza gets pissed, blows up the whole planet somehow. Everyone's dead except for the small group that was with Whis. And Whis says, oh, I'll just perform a temporal do-over. Beep! And then starts the planet over again, or takes it back, 15, 30 seconds or some crazy stuff like that. Where Frieza's just about to do it, and then Goku comes rushing in. And finishes Frieza off and takes the glory from Vegeta and saves the day. Like always. That being said, that's the reason I say the two movies need to be considered one as a review. It should be watched as one. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan and you haven't seen these, watch them as one. If you have already seen them but you haven't watched them as one, watch them as one. It makes so much more sense and it feels like a complete story that way, right? Well, pretty much a complete story. So, Revival of Frieza, a review by itself, it's hard for me to resist giving it a 10, but it's really hard for me to give anything a 10, especially a Dragon Ball Z movie, because of the cheap ass ways they end it, or the cheap ways that they figure out the loopholes and whatnot. I thought that you could only be brought back from the dead so many times with the Dragon Balls. I thought Frieza had already came back too many times, but they brought him back again anyway with the Dragon Balls. Not sure how that worked. But anyway, if I'm giving a review by itself, maybe at 8.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10, something like that. But if you put the two together, it's a solid 9.5 out of 10 on martial arts, on epicness, on just straight up fan service. Dragon Ball Z, the new series, totally check them out. I'm about to go watch them again. There's just so much in these movies that it's hard for me to cover it all, and I've totally skipped a subject. I wanted to mention briefly about the Super Saiyan God and the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan or whatever. They're calling it Super Saiyan Blue now. Kind of cheesy. I liked Super Saiyan 4 more. I know it wasn't canon, but Akira Toriyama did draw the designs, create the designs for Super Saiyan 4. Thought they looked cool. It made sense to me that they would get more apish because they're kind of apey characters anyway. But the animations were really cool on it. The sound effects of the energy, the chi, the ki coming off of them when they're transformed, super cool. Super cool. Goku getting all skinny and pink. Kaioken again. I don't know. He was buff and muscular and red in Kaioken and skinny and pink in Super Saiyan God. Not so sure why. Also, I'm not sure why they call it Super Saiyan God when he's got his regular hair. Shouldn't you just call that Saiyan God? And then the regular Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan or Blue, is just his Super Saiyan 1 hair. Or, yeah, you'd call the red one Saiyan God, and you would call the blue one Super Saiyan God. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? I don't know. But I thought Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue was kind of a lot to say. Goku, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue! But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you want to see me do any other reviews, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, thank you for watching Kung Fu Science. What's in your Kung Fu?